Hi all, welcome back to more of The Other Side of the Hill. So this is part 55. Uh, okay, got a reply to my question, and it was as I thought. That if there was two replies, Carlos replied as well, confirming it. There was another reply as well, sorry didn't catch your name, but um, whenever you do make a retreat, if an AG head can follow, as long as there's not another AG head there, he'll follow with you. And that's what I took it as the word, and I'm just reading it in my own special way, if you like, to try and create something. But however, I think it's as I thought. It just at first when I first read it, that's all. But anyway, good to just confirm the things. Okay, let's push on. Right, I've got two more. Yeah, things went bad, haven't they? Things have went bad. Yeah, the Allies are back into southern France, which I thought at first might, and well, they're in northern France as well. I took the resource loss for that. Yeah, I did. Yeah, so back down to 12. The other one, we're probably going to lose Denmark, Norway. Let's hope they don't land there in the summer. There's a high chance of that, and then it's another resource away. Yeah, I was sort of worried like we might be getting cut off here, but they're in there. If they take all of their, remember there's no offensive in there as well, though, Grant. Well, that doesn't matter. They're going to carry out an offensive in the summer. Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think we're going to get cut off. We're just going to get pushed back, probably. But maybe we'll need to watch it anyway. So two combats left to go: Turkey and Northern Italy. Well, Northern Italy is important. Well, these are both important, really. We took a chance, put List down there. He's not going to do anything. And remember, we don't have Kesselring, so no OB. He's useless. He can do something. Cancel the air. Our air naval control on the southern front is at 2. So does that not maybe suggest we do this one first? No, it doesn't really work out that way, Grant. No, in fact, you're better doing that one first to cancel any air hits. It's more than likely if we have a combat, we have air dice rolls anyway, though. So which more than likely we should take it to 1, and then they get the extra dice. Yeah, but you need that. I mean, having these at 2 is not enough, really. You need them really at 3 to feel sort of some comfort, but it's really hard. Okay, so the last card was card 18, which was really bad. The card before that was actually card 19, which was really bad. So not many cards left in the combat deck, maybe 3 or 4. So which one? So I'm hoping. Well, let's predict that there's not going to be a combat here. Where would you prefer it not to be a combat? I think here, because List is not doing anything. So let's go for Northern Italy, right? Western offensive, 1944 on the attack, and we do it wrong. Well, that's card number 8, mind you. So 1944 Western offensive on the attack. We've got 2 air rolls and 3 dice. So there's a high chance it's going to be 4 dice. Yeah. Okay, general wise, we do have an OB, does nothing. It's Rommel actually. No. Rommel's ability, if he was the OB. No, because it's already stated in the rules at the beginning, which I find not 100% clearly stated in the rules, but I think Carlos was maybe going to amend some of that as well. That the OB situation, the only OB that can help in the southern front is Kesselring. The only OB that can help in the eastern front is Van Manstein. Is it Van Manstein? Yeah. And nobody can help in the western front. I struggled with that in the rules, so I think he might be adjusting it somehow, but whether others struggled with it or not, maybe not. Maybe just me. So Rommel's no good. List's no good. We're having a combat, so we need to find a leading general. It's either going to be a 5 or a 4, which can both fit in with the list fine. I want to say we've looked at all these though, and didn't we? Or was it over in the Soviet side? I don't know. Yeah, I think we just looked at these for Spain. I don't think anybody's going to help. Yeah, there's not much help at all. The only guy that's going to be able is this guy. Control the pyramid, change any one, result in a grey die for a grey tank. We were sort of considering him as the AG head for possibly for Hungary, was it? Or no, I think we were considering him for Northern Italy. Yeah, we were, weren't we? So should we chuck him in as a leading general? He's the only one that can actually do anything. I mean, grey die roll. The only grey result you're going to change is an event. But he is the only one that can help. So he is a 5 as well. So in fact, there's only one more 5 to come, and then that'll allow us to get at the 3s. So let's put Reinhardt in then, and we may want to change a grey die result for a tank. Obviously, it's better if you're involved in planes, isn't it? Changing that would be far better, but. No, see, we're not going to combats in planes anymore. We did have that one when we were in the Ukraine, but now we've moved back into Hungary. So, Paris is in river, and we've been pushed back to Paris and to Frankfurt. Both of them are river. So yeah, let's just go with him then. So, first of all, 2 air rolls. Remember, it's only the aircraft symbol that can affect us, and it's only affected by 1. Well, it's at 2 anyway. So we're hoping for no aircrafts here. And we get lucky again. We've been pretty lucky with the ones, and some of the strategic warfare and that, we've been quite lucky with that. Aircraft's not showing up when we want them. So it stays at 2, which is superb, because that means they are only getting the 3 dice and not an extra 1. So yeah, and just to confirm, that was a card 1944 Western on the attack. 2 air dice we've just rolled, so they're getting 3 dice, and we can't mess about with the 3 dice, so we're getting 3 dice as well though. So okay, so 3 dice. The attack is in rough. Now here is... Now hold on here. Surely this +1 has to be when attacking from here into here or here into here, yeah? It's just they're attacking from there into there. I mean, come on, Grant, do you really need to look that up? Where does it talk about these +1s? Add 1 die, 27, page 27. Add 1 die if the allied faction involved in the combat for every +1 symbol in a connection if the adjacent area is controlled by that allied faction. Yeah, needs to be controlled by the allied faction. This area is not controlled by them, it's disputed. Yeah, okay. So just the 3 dice. Good. Right, here we go. 3 Western dice. 2 hits in an event, and the combat's in rough, member, so I'll take that. That's pretty good. Right, and then for ourselves, we've got a grey, a white, and we're defending in rough, so we get an extra white. And just remember that Reinhardt could change a grey result into a grey tank result. Like I've said though, the only result that we would be worthy of changing would be an event, I think. Right, so 3 dice, we need to beat 2 hits. Here we go. Oh, blank is not what you want to see, Grant. Well, fortunately there are 2 hits. Well, it's 2 to 2, so it's an attrition. My. That was 1 I should have won, I think. I mean, the only thing Reinhardt can change that into a tank. Yeah, okay. Good one. Right, and we've got a combat event to worry about. Right, so this does nothing. We can't change. He's the only thing that can do something, and that's already a tank. So, right, we've got a combat event. See what that is going to be. There's a big pile of them still to come, so probably not good. Carpet bombing can't be good, can it? If there are no disputed areas in the Western Front, put this down the bottom. There are disputed areas in the Western Front. Northern France, Southern France. That's all actually, but that's enough. So reduce one German army in a disputed area in the Western Front. Oh my. That's going to take one of the satellite armies out, isn't it? So, our disputed areas in the Western Front are Northern France, which has got a satellite army, Southern France, which has got a satellite army, and that's it now, because we're back in Northern Italy. This is where the combat is. Turkey's occupied, so that's fine. Okay. So we've got to reduce one German army in one of these areas. I believe it's going to have to be not. No. I mean, does it matter? Yuck, it's horrible. It doesn't specify a random selection on anything. I'm going to assume I get to choose. Reduce one German army in a disputed area in the Western Front. Yeah, I'm taking that. I get to choose. If not, it should say more on the card. We're going to go into the administrative phase in the summer, where we're going to get replacements. Replacement marker got knocked down to 2 as well. Oh my. I think as you don't want to. Well, hold on here, Grant. You can move. Yeah, but if you move the army out, if there's no army in there and they attack, you've got to take 3 retreats. That's why you can't afford that. You just can't. Okay, I'm going to take the hit on Northern France then. I don't think it matters if it's either one. Right, that's a satellite army that gets removed from the game. Yeah, okay. So that was carpet bombing. Thanks very much. That goes away, that's done. Right, that was our event. And then we resolve the combat. 2 hits to 2 hits. Combat's in rough, so tanks just count as 1. So 2 to 2 is an attrition. So we have to take one retreat or 1 reduction. We're going to have to take a reduction. That means less staying. I wonder about if less might go away here, but no. We've got reduced armies. Yeah, I don't want to take a retreat, Grant. You take the reduction, right? So this gets reduced to a reduced army. Nobody gets questioned. Combat's over. Dice can go back. Combat card goes away. Reinhardt was our leading general, so he's been activated. He's done. Yeah, there was nobody questioned. It's only if we had retreated. Yeah. Okay. Well, not good again. And carpet bombing didn't help. Right, over to Turkey. Okay, here we go. There's only 2 combat cards left. So, Western faction attacking 1944. That's the one you probably wanted for Northern Italy. I guess it means Turkey are getting away with it. So 2 air rolls and a strategic event. So no combat here. So it can only be our AG head that can help. On Stupid although he cancels an air hit, that's within the combat. We've been through that before. Cancel 1 in the allied combat roll. Well, there's not going to be an allied combat roll, even though there's going to be a roll, aircraft roll, whatever. Right, so no combat. We don't select generals here. Our air naval control is at 2, so we will be rolling the 2 air rolls. Not quite as important this time, but I'd still like to not see an aircraft. Here we go. This time we get 2. Oh well. Right, so that does take our air naval control now down to 1 in the southern front. Yeah. Okay. And also on the card, there was a strategic event in 1944. So let's do that. Misfortune again. One of the blue cards, this one. Hungary defects. Right, if Ukraine is controlled by the Allies, discard this card. Right. Ukraine is not controlled by the Allies. No, it is, sorry. If Ukraine is controlled by the Allies, discard this card. If Ukraine is not disputed, then go down the bottom. Right. Reduce 1 German army in Ukraine. Okay. So I want to say we might get away with the misfortune here as well, but I'm just going to check that again. Actually, it might be or it might not be. If Ukraine is controlled by the Allies, it is. Discard this card. Right, so it's the symbol, the discard symbol. Right, page 31. If the condition is met, which is Ukraine controlled by the Allies? It is. If the condition is met, resolve any recurring events on the card and then discard the card. Do not resolve the unique event on the card and do not draw another card. Yeah, so it does. It still triggers the misfortune check, right? However, then this card's going to go away. So we've got a misfortune. And yeah, it doesn't come back. It just goes away, Grant. Right, we've got a misfortune check. I'm going to check that combat card though as well, because that's going to be that. Yeah, I'm going to take that away. There's no good at combat. Right, misfortune check. So 1 grey die. We don't want to see a hit. Unfortunately, we do see a hit. Right, okay, so I've got to check my generals. So anybody, we're in 1944 now. So anybody with a misfortune that's in any of the 3 piles, sorry, I've just picked up the available, any of the 3 piles, we're going to randomise between what we find. Right, so I've got three from available. This guy's captured from 1943 onward, poor health from 1944, plane crash from 1944. So I need to keep them in a separate pile, and these are the ones that were activated. No. Right, so there's nobody to check there. And then the ones that are in command. Let me just quickly look here. No. Right, we've got somebody. That's Rommel. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter so much. He's in the OB. We don't need him anymore. Blah blah blah. Yeah, Rommel is wounded in an air attack, 1944. Okay, so I'm going to roll between these 4, and yeah, I actually want to get. I actually want to hit Rommel here, really, don't I? So these 3 were the ones that were available. Sorry, I'll put them in his seniority order because I need to remember and put them back. And then Rommel's the other one. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and re-roll a 5 or a 6. We want a 4 on the dice, I think, anyway. Right, here we go. 2. I thought about going on the 4 there. Right, so it's not a Rommel. It's going to be Hans Valentin Hube. Defending an any. That's not good to see. Add +1 hit to the Axis combat roll for every tank. That's pretty good. Yeah. I would have been happy. Look at the other 2. This is defending and what's the island again? It's River, isn't it? Yeah, River. And that's attacking in River. I'd much prefer one of them. I mean, he's slightly better than him, but I mean, you can't. It does say you pick them randomly, you know. That was the best one out of the 4. Yeah, but unfortunately he's gone. He's had a plane crash in 1944. Right, these 2 go back in the availables, and Rommel goes back in command. And this guy has had a misfortune. Yeah, plane crash. So he goes up in this pile here. What's his name? Hans Valentin Hube. Let me find his marker. Okay, I got his marker. That's a bit. He's done with. So, yeah, poor misfortune result as well there. You know, I mean, if I could have picked anyone that I didn't want the misfortune to hit, it would have been him. How about that? Okay. Right, 1 more combat card left in the combat deck. That's us done with the Western faction, isn't it? Yeah. And come the summer, we're going to get 4 attacks, aren't we? Northern France, Southern France, Northern Italy, and Turkey. So, Turkey didn't get attacked there, so that was the good part of it all, but it was a lot bad. It was a lot bad there. Right, okay, let's push on. Let's have some fun over in the east then. So, Soviet offensive time. Right, we've managed to keep the areas with the same amount and the same setup of armies. 1 regular and 2 reduced. No, we've not. Yeah, we pushed 1. It did sort of make sense down into Turkey in there, and we didn't get a combat in Turkey. So, that's what happens, eh? So, yeah, it's slightly weaker in Romania, Bulgaria. However, they're defending in rough, and not only that, Von Kukor cancels the automatic reduction. Right, so card number 5. I thought I said that was 8. Oh, no, it was 8 before. So, it was card number 5 we had last. So, it was a good card. We've got 1 more card in the deck. Where would we take an attack? Modal? I think so. I mean, you could be awful cheeky here and look through the deck and find out what card number it's going to be. Well, I mean, look through the discard deck. But that, I think, is taking it a little bit. It's been a wee bit too cheeky. I don't mind looking at some of the cards in the discard pile, but I'm not going to count cards and say, right, we know it's going to be card number 12 or something like that that's going to come up. Because they're number 1 to 20, so you could easily find that out, but nothing I read in the rules about looking through the discard piles. Well, some games say that. Don't think I came across anything about that. Might have talked about this before, but anyway, it's a bit gamey to look and find. It's not going to tell me the exact information. Like, if I find out it's card 12, I'm going to be like, right, okay, that's probably a combat. Right, let's go for Hungary then. Yeah? Yeah, let's go for Hungary. Right, it's the last combat card. This is hold on, sorry, I've not put my markers out ever. It's the same area as though. So we've nothing disputed anymore, have we? No. So adjacent, and adjacent. Right, so we're going to pick Hungary as the first one. Soviet faction, 1944 on the attack. It is straight up 4 dice, but no reduction that we were, or something that we were hoping to cancel. But what card was it? Card number 12. How about that? Now, I didn't look at it, I just randomly picked a number. It's just coincidence. Trust me. So, yeah, on the attack, 4 dice. So, no special effects. But remember, you've got von Manstein Grant. So, and we're going to get 4 dice. That seems fair. Right, modal cancels any special effect in the combat card. So that we missed with that. Von Manstein's going to let us reroll 1 Axis dice. And now we're going to look for a leading general between... There's 1 5 left and some 4. So, you know, it'd be quite nice to get rid of the 5. But he's not going to do anything for us. So let me have a look. No, I've got a lot of good choices here. The 5 is this guy, which isn't going to help me. But there was a slight temptation to get rid of him so that... Because he's the last 5. Out of the 4 4s, this guy wouldn't help, so there's no point playing him because he's not going to do nothing, and I don't need to get rid of a 4. The other 3, however, are all good. I've seen this guy before, he's really good. This guy's really good, defending in rough. This guy's not as good, but we are rolling 2, actually no, we're rolling 3 white dice. So in actual fact, he's pretty good. There's a temptation. Right, what are they getting? Is it 4 dice here getting? They're getting 4. We're getting 4. Can we take a chance and play Paulus to get rid of him? I don't know. I'm not so sure I should take the chance here. Combat deck's going to reshuffle after this combat as well. So the other 3 checks are going to be making a fresh deck. So, what does that mean? What does that tell you, Grant? Yeah, I'm not sure I want to take a chance and chuck Paulus in there just to get rid of him. How many 3s are there, actually? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 3s. So it would be kind of nice, but... I mean, you might have a better place to chuck them away. Well, no, these 2 attacks are in the river, so you're only getting the 3 dice in A2. This one's in rough, but remember you reduced the army there. Well, that Lindemann is really quite good in here though as well, because I'm rolling 4 white dice there. Should we take a chance? Four dice to 4 dice. I mean, what likelihood do you, if you get any other combats, you're going to be facing 4 dice, I think. You might get lucky with a 3. Well, maybe that's what you're... I think my thinking is the 3s are going to come with... Well, the thing is, when Kukor cancels the special... We wanted it here though. Modal cancels anything, doesn't he? Yeah, there's no way of telling which ones to pick first, is there? You just don't know what the cards are going to be. Go on, Grant, make your mind up. Take the chance. I'll tell you what. Yeah, because I forgot we put a 5 in there, didn't we? Well, that's irrelevant. Well, it means we can't put Paulus into the combat in that, because he's a 5. So maybe another reason to get at the 3s. Okay, this might be a bad move. I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to play Paulus. Remember, Oh, I can't. There you go. I was just... Is that where we're at? We're in Hungary. Yeah, he's a 5 as well. So I can't play him. Oh well. Well, that's that choice taken out of the way. So the only place I'm going to be able to play him is in Romania, Bulgaria, or Baltic States, because there's a 5 in Belarus as well. So it needs to be higher, doesn't it? I shouldn't need to look that up, but there we go. The nominated general's seniority factor must be lower than that of the activated head of army group. So it needs to be lower than a 5, so I can't pick Paulus. Right. Well, I might as well... well, you know what? I've no choice. I've got to pick one of the 4s, so... so do I pick... Yeah, okay, I'm going to pick this guy then. I know he looks like he would be better in here, but I might take my chance in there and chuck Paulus in there. So, Soviet faction defending against any terrain, the controlling player may change one white blank result for a white hit result, and that's his combat rule. And we've got Von Manstein here as well. I was forgetting about that. Well, you can't play Paulus, Grant. Saying that Lindemann would be better in there because you're rolling 4 white dice. 3 white dice in there though. I'm more than likely going to hit a blank, come on. Okay, well, let's just go with that then. So we've still got our 5 there. Right, there's what's happening. There was no special effect. It's just a straight up 4 dice for the Soviets on attack. So model unfortunately doesn't do nothing for us. Here was us fighting a way to put him in as an AG head, and he's not been useful this time. However, right, that's a reroll. That's whatever white blank into a hit. But we need to deal with their 4 dice first. Now, where's the air naval control? Where are we? Eastern Front. The air naval control's at 2, so that's good. Again, they don't get a bonus to that, but it means if there's an aircraft symbol comes up, at least the first one's not going to be a hit. We good to go? I think so. 4 dice, Hungary. The attack is in rough. Yeah, okay, here we go. Attack's in rough. That looks like a good result. That looks like the result I would have wanted if I'd put Paulus in. Well, you weren't allowed to put Paulus in the end, Grant. Because that is an air hat. Yeah, and that's now going to take the air naval control down at 1. An event, and it's only 2 hits. So we're up against 2 hits, so I'm feeling comfortable regarding that. Yeah, that's not the die roll I would have wanted for what I chose or was forced to choose or whatever. Right, okay. But what have we gotten? We're getting a grey and 2 white, and then the extra white for that. So a grey and 3 white. We can re-roll one of these. We can change a white blank to a white hat. Okay. There we go. 2 white blanks. We've got 1 bloody hat. Right. Well, you probably got to re-roll the event, don't you? Right, first of all, yeah, I'm going to change that blank to a hit. And I'm going to keep that and that. That's a score 2 hits. And I'm going to keep that. And I'm going to re-roll that from von Manstein. Yeah? Because we need one more hit. And I don't really want a combat event. So, right. Anything with a hit on it, please? Yes. Excellent. Okay, good. And that was starting to look a bit iffy after me saying that it looked like it was going to be a breeze. Okay, so remember we changed one of the white blanks into a hit. I've already done that. So that gets taken away. That's doing nothing. We already re-rolled from von Manstein. Modal doesn't do anything. We've got 3 hits. They're going to just have 2, but we've got a combat event to deal with first. And these are just becoming horrible, aren't they? When leads to the USSR, yeah, it's one that keeps returning. If the USSR is not at war, well, it is. If the combat is with the Western faction, yeah. Oh no, hang on. Is this the one that's? Yeah, this is the one that's should say if the combat is not with the Western faction. No. Hang on. No, sorry. It's not this one. If the combat is with the Western faction, this would go down the bottom. The combat is not with the Western faction. It's with the Soviet faction. Roll 1 Western die. If the result is an aircraft or a tank... Oh, come on. No. +1 hit to the Allied combat roll in this combat. That's cruel. And then it goes in the new year. So roll 1 Western die, and we don't want to see a tank or an aircraft. This is pretty important. Right, don't want to see a tank or an aircraft. Yes! We get a result again. So yeah, I mean the star normally is a bad thing, but roll 1 Western die. If the result is aircraft or tank, +1 hit to the Allied combat roll, then it goes New Year. No effect, but it goes to New Year. So that's fine. I'm all good with that. Got away with that, really, didn't we? Because that would have then turned us into a draw, wouldn't it? So that's the combat event done. Aircraft, we're going to reduce our air naval control. Nice in front, down to 1. Now, it's not extra dice for them, but it's down at 1 now, so that takes care of that. And then we've got 3 hits to their 2, so we do succeed. Combat card goes away. That's needing refresh now, the combat deck. The combat is over in Hungary. Von Manstein, well, it goes back, but Modal goes back, not being able to get used, and like I say, when Manstein goes back, he's going to come back out again shortly, probably. And then Lindemann, well, done his thing, and he's been activated. Right, combat decks, not getting any cards left, so let me reshuffle that. Right, nice new fresh combat deck, and 3 more combats to check, so we can't base anything on any cards that have been drawn already. Well, the last one was a combat though, so I suppose you could... No, it doesn't really work, does it? I think I'm going to go up top, Baltic States. Oh, no, hold on. The thing that does matter is the generals. We've still got that 5, and he can only be played here and here. You know what, if we go as Von Kukor, he cancels the special effect, doesn't he? Straight up. imagine getting a special effect in 3 dice, right? In that area, right? Sorry, I'm just thinking here. If we drew a card, and if I happen to draw this card, I'm not manipulated it. I know I was talking about card 12 the last time and I drew it, but you know, I've not got special powers on it. Anyway, if I drew, I'm just thinking, if I drew a special effect reduction in 3 dice, that would be perfect for there. Cancelling that, putting Paulus in there, we'd get 4 white dice with a reroll from von Manstein against their 3 dice. Perfect, eh? Right, I'm going to have to just do it now. Maybe if I do turn this card up and it's got special effect reduction in 3 dice, then maybe I do have special powers. Right, Romania, Bulgaria. Fresh combat deck off the top. Soviet faction attacking in 1944. Oh! I was thinking, oh, I've got it. I've not. That's perfect for that was perfect for Modal, wasn't it? That was close. Because that's it's only a strategic event though, Grant, and 3 dice. So I could still go for this. That's pretty good. What card's that? 6. So there is going to combat, 1944 attack, Soviet faction, strategic event, and 3 dice. Yeah, at first I was thinking it was the satellite reduction, but that's not what that is. It's just a strategic event and 3 dice. So I think I'm tempted here to get rid of Paulus. Right, hang on here though. No, we pick generals first. So you got, again, when Manstein's coming back, we get to reroll a die. Von Kukler, unfortunately, can't cancel that one. And just to remind you, you can only cancel the special effect reduction. He is a 7, so I can pick anybody that's less than a 7. So I don't even think I'm going to look. I think I'm just going to take Paulus this time. He's doing nothing for us. But we've got Von Manstein with the reroll. I mean, I'd hate to be retreating here. For sure, but they're only getting 3 dice. Let's hope the strategic event is kind. Oh, I tell you what. There's only 2 strategic events left. I don't know what Ryan's saying that we put back the 28th Army card? The card that goes back in the Soviet one. That would be nice right now. Does that, it cancels a hat? Is that? Something like that. Okay, well, actually I think there's 3 cards left. No, just 2 I think. Right, anyway, we've picked our generals. We're defending in rough. We're going to get 4 dice. They're getting 3 dice, but first of all, we have to check for a strategic event here. Now. So that happens first here. Yeah, I don't think we've had this before a combat. So here we go. Strategic event. Oh no, it's a coup. Right, that last card must be, unless that card, I think you're rolling it and it goes away. Right, okay. This might be the end of the game. Right, what does it say? Coup attempt. If no areas in France, oh, you know what? They just came into France, didn't they? Just recently landed in northern France. Well, we had to retreat out of Spain into southern France as well. So, right, if no areas in France or Belgium and Holland are disputed or controlled by the Allies, if no areas in France or Belgium, Holland are disputed. Well, they are. Southern France and Northern France are disputed. So it's not going down the bottom, Grant. The anti-Nazi conspirators attempt to assassinate Hitler and stage a coup. 7.7. It's a one-off card, which is kind of strange. I thought this might go into the new year. That makes me feel more uncomfortable about this, as if this is more likely going to be the end. And we only managed to get our fanaticism up at 7. If that project had completed, we would have been at 8 right now. Yeah. If that had been this and this had been that. Okay. Let's do this. I don't know if I'm going to have time to go through this because it's something I've not done. Right, 7.7. That's some misprint. 7.4. It does say 7.7 on the card, but there's not a 7.7 in the rulebook. It's 7.4. That's fair enough. That's fine. Right. Let's. Can I try and maybe look this? I don't know. I might get a glare over here though. Yeah, probably. I could probably put that lamp off. Hang on. Right. We're down here. This is on page 32. Coup attempt. Let's say it's 7.4. But when the event card coup attempt is played, Black Orchestra cards are used to determine whether anti-Nazi dissidents succeed in their attempt to assassinate Hitler and thus end the war. Players acquire Black Orchestra cards whenever one of their generals is dismissed or becomes a dissident. Yeah. And we've got the whole deck of them. Somebody knows right now what's going to happen, I think. Right, hang on. So, to resolve the coup attempt, shuffle all the Black Orchestra cards in the players' boards and reveal them one by one, adding or subtracting their values from the accumulated total. The starting Q value starts as 0 and is modified as follows. So, we're going to shuffle them up. Draw them off the top of the shuffled deck. If the revealed card's value is +1, we add 1 to the Q value. I'll just try that on a dice. If the revealed card's value is -1 and the fanaticism value is higher than 5, which it is at the moment, yeah. Well, that's going to count, yeah, I think. Right, okay. So if the revealed... Sorry, I'm not showing you that a little bit. Let's move down. If the reveal card value is -1, the fanaticism value is higher than 5, roll 1 grey die. On a result of grey hat, subtract 1 from the Q value. With any other result, discard the card without effect. Okay, can it be a minus number, the Q value? Maybe it might tell us. I'm not seeing anything there. So, number 3. If the revealed card's value is -1, fanaticism value is equal to or lower than 5, well, no, we wouldn't be doing that right now. Roll 1 white die and a result of white hat, subtract 1 from the Q value. Then our result, discard the card without effect. Okay. So, slightly less chance of that happening. Right, and then step 4. The value of Friedrich, Fromm and von Klug cards depends on the accumulated total when they are revealed. If the accumulated total is equal to or higher than 3, their value is +1. If the accumulated total is lower than 3, their value is -1. Okay, so we want a low number when we see them. Because, yeah, we want as low as possible here, don't we? And then 5, add 2 points to the Q value for every controlled disc in the collapse box and 1 point for every general marker in the AG head or OB head box with a dissident marker. Right, hang on. Add 2 points to the Q value for every controlled disc in the collapse box. Well, we've none of them. And 1 point for every general marker in an AG head or OB head box with a dissident marker. We've got 2 dissident AG heads. So we're going to add 2 to that. And you put modal in there. He was a dissident. So that was your doing, Grant. If we lose this by 1, I've put modal in there, knowing he was a dissident. Right, well, I wasn't clear on this. Right, and let's see what the outcome is going to be then. So the accumulative total is the Q value. Let me get all this in. Zoom in a little bit, Grant. There we go. Right, the cumulative total is the Q value. The outcome of the Q attempt depends on the comparison between the Q value and the fanaticism value. Remember, we are at 7. The Q value is higher than fanaticism value. Successful coup Hitler's assassinated and a military junta is established to sue for peace. The game ends with the collapse of Germany and all players lose. So it's higher than 7, this number. We're done for. Q value is equal to or lower than the fanaticism value and higher than 5. So if it's a 6, because we're sitting at 7, if it's a 6, infighting, Hitler's assassinated but his regime is not overthrown. So there's open conflict within Germany, half the fanaticism value, rounding up, and move all replacement markers in the production table to the 0 box. Okay, that sounds bad as well, but it keeps us in the game. So if it happens to be 6, that's what's going to happen. And then if the Q value is equal to or lower than fanaticism value, which is 7, and equal to or lower than 5, yeah, okay, so it needs to be 5 or less, then there is no effect to this. And that's the result we want. Okay. Right, okay, let's do this then. So, first of all, I'm shuffling up the deck. I'm gonna... Yeah, okay. Right, I put that lamp back on and got kind of dull all of a sudden. Right, Black Orchestra cards. Right, I'm going to shuffle... Oh, leave one behind. Right, I'm going to shuffle these up. Give them a good max. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's 14 of them. And we've got everyone in the game. So that's that. Right, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. A little cut. Right, here we go. Right, so where can I put them? I'll bring them down here. Actually, can I? Yeah, because we're right in the middle of the combat here, aren't we? In fact, we've not even started the combat, have we? Right, I'll put them here. It should work okay. Okay, here we go. Reveal them one at a time. I've got a D6, but I'm probably going to need more than a D6, haven't I? Let me get a higher dice. Yeah, I've got a D10 here, right? I'm zoomed out as far as I can go. Right, okay, I'll put the dice. Right, so let's reveal the first card. Right, there's a bit of story involved here. There's a +1, so that's not good, is it? So, who's this? Ludwig Beck. He was Chief of Staff of the OKH until his resignation in 1938. He always opposed the Nazi regime and would have been Germany's head of state after Hitler's death. He committed suicide on July 21st. That's a +1. So that's the first card. We're sitting at 1. Okay? Our fanaticism 7. Right, second card. Open shutters. That's a -1. Due to the summer heat, the situation meeting was held in a room with open windows. If the steel shutters had been closed, the explosion would have probably killed everyone in the room. So it's a -1. Well, we're back down to 0. It's not said that you can be minuses. So if we happen to get a -1 here, I might have to look it up. But we did go +1, -1, so it's back down to 0. So I think that's fair. Right, here we go. Friedrich Olbricht. Right, not sure about that. He's a +1. From his post in the reserve army, he devised the Volker plan as a blueprint for a coup d'etat. His hesitation in activating the plan contributed to its failure. He was shot on the night of July the 20th. So, another +1. We're back up to 1. That's 3 cards gone out of 14. So, what more to come? Right, another +1. Henning von Trekau. Remember, there's a couple of guys we want to keep that below 3, isn't there? So, that's not good. He was a staff officer opposed to Nazi atrocities and driving force behind the conspirators. He staged several failed assassination attempts. He committed suicide on July 21st. He's a +1. Right. Now, 2, we don't want to get to 3, do we? Yeah, we don't want to get to 3, because that's going to spoil it for the guys. Right, here we go. Oh, no. Erich Hoppner. He was dismissed after retreating against orders in Russia in the winter of 1941. On July 20, he replaced Fromm as head of the reserve army. He was executed in August 1944. He's a +1. So we're up to the 3. So we don't want to see Friedrich Fromm or von Klug just now until we get that down to 2 again. Here we go. Oh, good. It's good. It's a minus. The second bomb, -1. The initial plan was to set off the 2 bombs Stauffenberg was carrying, but he only had time to activate the detonator for one of them. If both bombs had gone off, Hitler would have probably died. Down to 2. Okay, right, now I want to see one of the guys. Fromm or von Klug. Here we go. How many cards is that away? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've only got 8 to go. Right, but we want to see one of the guys now, I think. Come on. He's a -1. He's a -1. He attended this Heinz Brandt. He attended the Situation meeting on July 20th. He is believed to have moved the briefcase with the bomb away from Hitler, thus contributing to saving his life. He died of his wounds on July 21st. He's a -1. We're down to 1. Okay. And that's us half. No, I'm saying we're halfway through. I think it was 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did that count that right? 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think I said we only had 6 left. Right, we're halfway through. We've got 7 left. We're sitting at 1. We want to see these guys. Right, here we go. Oh, that's a +1. Erwin von Witzelben. Always opposed to the Nazi regime, he was retired in 1941. He would have been head of the army after Hitler's death. He joined the coup too late on July 20th and was executed in August 1944. Back up to 2. We need to see one of these guys now. There's 6 cards left. Come on. Fromm or von Klug. No, but it's a -1. Joseph Goebbels. After the assassination attempt, he remained calm and organised the resistance from the propaganda ministry. He convinced Rema that Hitler was alive, thus turning the tables on the conspirators. -1. We're back down to 1. Let me just check. I'm not counting these right. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 cards to come. And I'm assuming 2 of these have to be this Friedrich Fromm and von Klug. So, yeah, let's see one of them now, please. Come on. He's a -1. Okay. Otto Remmer. As the commander of a battalion in Berlin, I hope I'm not missing this and going the wrong way. No, I don't think you are. You want a low number. As the commander of a battalion in Berlin, he initially obeyed the conspirators' orders. After Goebbels put him on the phone with Hitler, he took his orders from him and arrested the conspirators. A -1. We're down to 0. We might find, well, hopefully this is just a +1, so we don't need to look into this, but here we go. Ooh, right, so this is von Klug. So I think I am going to have to try and find this out now. I want to feel like we're pretty good though. Right, Gunther von Klug. So if it's greater than or equal to 3, it's a +1. If it's less than a 3, it's a -1. We're sitting at 0. So I don't know if it goes -1 or not though. As head of Army Group B, he turned a blind eye on the conspirators in his command. He refused to join the coup when he learned that Hitler had survived. He committed suicide in August 1944. Well, it's definitely not a +1. So it's either a -1, as you know what, I've got a minus dice somewhere. Where's that? Hang on. Right, so it's we're either sitting at -1, or it doesn't do anything and we're sitting at 0. It doesn't make it clear, I don't think, in the rules, if you can have a minus number. Because I read through that section pretty carefully, I think. Okay, so I can probably leave the question here without needing to ask it on BGG, because we can carry on here. There's only 3 cards to go. So we're either at 0 or we're at -1, right? Here we go. Let's go. Right, so that's a +1. Karl von Stupnagel. Oh, we've got him out there somewhere, haven't we? He was the military governor of France. On July 20th, he had the SS and Gestapo officers in Paris arrested, but he could not convince von Klug to join the coup. He was executed in August 1944. The +1, right. So we're either now sitting at 0 or or 1, which is fine. We've got 2 cards to go, right? C. von Stauffenberg. It's a +1. Klaus von Stauffenberg took a briefcase with 2 bombs to the Wolfschanz on July 20th, 1944. When he saw the explosion, he thought Hitler had died. He was shot later that night. So a +1. So again, we're either at 2 or 1. This has got to be the other guy, isn't it? Yeah, Friedrich Fromm. So if we're greater than or equal to 3, well, we're either 1 or 2. So no. If we're less than 3, it's going to be a -1. He was head of the reserve army. He was aware of his subordinates' activities, but when he learned that Hitler was alive, he had the conspirators arrested and shot. He was in turn executed in March 1945. So we're going to take a -1 of that. So again, it's either the final result is either going to be 0 or 1. If Carlos or anyone else wants to chime in and let me know if you can go into the minus, that's why there's a differential here between the 2 numbers. That seemed pretty smooth. You could see how if it hit 3, that both of these guys are going to be a +1 though, so there's that danger, you know. Okay, so well, let's take the worst case scenario is a 1, right? So let's take that as the outcome. So the coup value is equal to or lower than the fanaticism value and equal to or lower than 5, and then there is no effect. Our fanaticism value is 7. 1 is equal to or lower than that, and 1 is also equal to or lower than 5, so there's no effect. So we got through that. I mean, there's no talk about this card coming back next year, but I mean, this is when this happened. You could clearly see through all the cards that this was a one-off thing. Well, I'm saying that. What happens when we question another general now? Do you draw a Black Orchestra card, or is that it done and dusted? I get the feeling this is a one-off. Right, hang on. Right, horrible time to finish this, and we are at an hour and 4 minutes. That's terrible though, Grant. You're right in the middle of the combat. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this and finish the combat. It's going to be a long video though, but I do need to take a break just now. This coup attempt is done, failed, and gone as far as I can make out on the card. It's not coming back, so that's that. I will take a pause here, and I'm not sure when I'm going to get back to finish this, but I will when I can. Okay, cheers. Hi all. Right, back to finish this part. Is it 55, I think? I was just going to cut that as a part, so I think I'm at an hour and 5 minutes or something, aren't I? But we are right in the middle of the combat. In fact, I've not rolled any dice. We were just dealing with the event on the combat card, that's right. I'm just trying to bring myself back. 1944. Yeah, strategic event, 3 cards. The strategic event turned out to be the coup. The coup attempt, which did fail, and it's still going to fail. However, I forgot about something. I talked about it. So let's say, yeah, well, my computer's just booting up just now. I meant to look back in the last little bit. I want to say we weren't sure if it was a 0 or a 1, or was it a 1 or a 2? I think it was a 0 or a 1. And that's because I'm not sure I could go into negatives. I'm not going to look that up unless... I wasn't going to look it up unless it mattered. Our fanaticism was at 7. So as long as it was below 7, and I think below 5, was it? Q value is less than or equal to 5, and the Q value is less than... Hang on, I'm reading this off the card here. The Q value is equal to or lower than the fanaticism value and equal to or lower than 5. Yeah, and I counted up either 0 or 1. However, I forgot about every OB head and AG general with a dissident marker would give a +1 to the Q value. There's our OB in the West. He's not dissident. He's not. Now, is it just dissident marker? So it's not if they're from the dissident faction, is it? Where are we? 1 point for every general marker in AG head or OB head box with a dissident marker. So if there was generals out there, I think there is one still. In fact, is it not? Yeah, it's Stupenagel. See, Stupenagel's an actual dissident. He's not got the marker on him. It does specify marker. However, even if we were to count him, right, which I don't think I would be, and I would for sure be double checking that. We do have Model who's dissident. I've got the markers underneath them, which I put in, and I was saying, God, if I fail this by 1, I'm going to be kicking myself for putting him into play. And then we've got Von Kukler, who's dissident as well, and that's it. So we would have added a +2 to the number. So I think that would have took us to 3 or maybe 4 at the most, which is still less than the fanaticism value of 7 and also less than 5. So we're still okay, right? Okay, good. And I can't remember if it was 0 and 1 and 1 and 2 that I finished at. Like I say, I've got some issues with my computer at the moment, so we'll just see how that goes. Right, well, let's just get this part finished. I'm just going to finish this combat rather than, because we've got 2 other combat checks to make. Right, where is this combat? Von Kukla. So it's in Romania, Bulgaria. So we've done the special effect of the strategic event. We've got 3 dice to roll. We've got von Manstein, who can help. We've got von Kukla, who didn't help, unfortunately. And we've got Paulus, who we were just getting rid of, I think. Yeah. He's just attacking into the river. So the only general we've got is von Manstein. But they are only throwing three dice. So, let me bring that on there back, a bit better space. Yeah, I'm off to one side here. Right, so yeah, they are only throwing 3 dice. And we're going to be rolling 3 as well, I think. Or 4. No, we're getting 4. They're all going to be white though. Right, so 3 dice for the Soviets. The combat is in rough. The air naval control value is at 1, so aircraft count as hits as well. That's a not so good part. Right, well, it's 3 straight up hits, no messing about. And that'll be that. Right, and like I say, we're in here, we've got 3 white dice and then an extra white dice for the combat defending in rough. So 4 white dice. And no, we need 4 hits here. Ideally. Von Manstein has a reroll for us. So, just thinking. No. Right, okay. Right, Von Manstein's got a reroll. Some guns, please. Right, we've got 2 hits. Wow. And then we've got a reroll, so we'll keep the blank and reroll the event. And well, we need the guns here, don't we? We need the guns. Oh yes! It looked like it was going to go on it, and then rolled over it, and I thought, oh no, and it came back. Wow, that's fortunate. Right, okay. Yeah, we've had a good luck. We've had some good luck and some bad luck. Although, was thinking back again to Kesselring. Twice we rolled a 6 on him. Within a pretty short period of time. And then he's gone. He's away. I mean, he's huge for the whole game. I can't remember exactly what he does. Yeah, I wanted to have a look at that. Let me see what he does again. Oh, what Kesselring. Yeah, if it's a markers and OB Sud, roll 1 additional grey die instead of 1 white die for rough terrain. I mean, he only benefits from in the rough. He's only on the Western faction. But yeah, defending rough was good. You know, a great thing to have is the OB, because you get it every time, you know. Well, that one does determine you being in rough. Well, mind you, what is Von Manstein not? Well, I don't think Von Manstein is. Yeah, we've got him out, Grant. He's defending an any, so he's actually stronger, isn't he? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so no special effects. We've dealt well with that. That counts for nothing. They've got 3 hits, we've got 4. So yeah, Von Manstein turned into a huge reroll of a die there for us, giving us a victory. Right, so that's a combat done. Combat card can go away. Von Manstein goes back in command. So does Von Kukor. Well, Von Manstein will be coming back out again, probably. And then we've got rid of Paulus. Yeah, we took a chance with that, didn't we? Playing him just to get rid of him. So now we're down to 4s as our highest. So we've got 4s and 3s. So that is the combat done in Romania, Bulgaria. I've got 2 more combat checks to make of the Soviet offensive of the spring of 1944, but I'll cut the video there because it's going to end up being too long. I will, however, be coming straight back to start the next part. So I'll be back shortly. Cheers.